Research, NDC, member of the Forum for Setting the Record Straight, head of Research Communications Directorate 2009, registrar at the Ghana Institute of Social Democracy, NDC's Ideological School. Don't forget, presidential staffer, Senior Research and Communications Directorate 2013-2016, Deputy CEO, National Youth Authority, member of the NDC's Elections Directorate, member of NDC's National Communications Team, Secretary, NDC's 2016 Manifesto Committee, Deputy Campaign Manager, Mahama 2012 Presidential Campaign, elected Deputy General Secretary 2018 to date, and senior member, NDC's Communications Team. So that's a brief profile of the 3 hot candidates for the NDC's General Secretary position. I'll be joined by the Vice Chair of the Publicity Committee of this event, that's the NDC's National Congress, and he's in the person of Dr. Edward Dr. Edward Buama. He's with us. We all know him very well, a former Deputy Minister for Communications. I nearly forgot his name, and this man would have killed me. Doc, you are welcome.
Yeah, thank you very much.
How did you feel when I was struggling to remember your name?
No worries.
You are welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
Publicity Committee, somebody like me will be interested in what you do. In fact, help us to understand that you are well prepared to give us the comfort to give coverage for this event.
Good evening to your cherished viewers, and let me commend Wizard TV for the good job that Wizard TV has been doing for the country and the NDC, and particularly for this Congress. I would say that so far it's been good in terms of our engagements with the media. We sent out information that media houses should apply, and we had quite a good number of applications. In fact, it was overwhelming to the extent that the number of personnel that we were supposed to accredit were over 1,000. And so eventually we looked at space and the need to make the media personnel very comfortable when they come in and to facilitate their work, and decided that, okay, let's go into a discussion with them and trim down the number from over 1,000 to 600. And so we had a very thorough discussion with them. We invited them here to the Accra Sports Stadium yesterday.
That was yesterday.
Yes, and had a briefing with them that we are going to accredit 600 media personnel. And so we gave them today 4 p.m. to come and pick their accreditation cards. 4 p.m. they were here in their numbers, and as we speak, 500 out of the 600 cards are gone. We are still here. Some of them are trickling in to pick all the 100 remaining cards. So in all, we are going to have 600 media personnel. The reason
are they all local?
No. Some of them are international and others are also not within Accra. The reason we are insisting on the cards, one, we do not want any media person to feel uncomfortable going about his or her work. Two, we want them to be properly accredited so that the areas that we have designated for them, they will have full access to those areas. Three, we are going to take care of their welfare because the Congress will last a bit into the night, and so their welfare would have to be taken care of. Hot meals, not just a meal, hot meals, water, drinks, just so they will be refreshed to be able to file their stories while they are here, because we are going to host them and we must be good hosts to the media. The next reason why we need them to be accredited is the police has shared with us some better lessons from the
NPP's conference.
From the NPP's conference, and we do not want to repeat that kind of example. And so we feel that accreditation is going to assist us. Beyond the accreditation, we've also advised them that anybody can be holding your accreditation. So please, to gain entry into the stadium tomorrow, beyond your accreditation, come with the ID card of the media house that you belong to, your institutional ID card. So you show your accreditation and then you also exhibit your institutional ID card. If you are coming from Wezo TV, let us see your Wezo TV ID card. If you are coming from multimedia, let's see your multimedia ID card. If you are coming from network broadcasting, Radio Gold, Power, XYZ, let's see your ID card so that it will be easy. GBC, GH1, all.
But some media people would say you identified us, you called us, you put in a requisition, we sent a list, you have given us accreditation card. So why should I come here to show you my ID card as a staff of a certain company?
Because at the entrance of the stadium, if I even get there and tell the policeman, let this man in or let this woman in, the policeman is not going to listen.
So they have been given strict instructions.
The police is in charge of security here. They are under strict instructions, and they also intend to ensure an incident-free process. And so it is in our own interest, to the extent that even party people, delegates, observers, without your ID, that is, without your accreditation, you are not going to be allowed to enter. We have discussed it with them, and they know that it is in their own interest. That also said, to ensure their comfort, we are providing them with tables, we are providing them with chairs, and we are providing them also with clean feed, not having the
logo of any media house.
Of any media house, no inscription, clean feed.
So that's for the television station.
Yes, audio and video, clean feed, so that you can tap. That also allows you not to be roaming about on the pitch here at the Accra Sports Stadium. Being here from yesterday up to today, we must say that there's a lot more that must be done about this pitch because of certain events that have taken place. And so we are mindful not to deteriorate it any further. And that is why we are putting in place all these measures to ensure that there wouldn't be much loitering on the main arena, except when voting is taking place.
Okay, so my guest is Dr. Edward Omane Boama, former Minister for Communications, and as we speak, he's here as the Vice Chair of the Publicity Committee of the people who are in charge of tomorrow's event. The NDC is holding their National Congress tomorrow. The venue is Accra Sports Stadium. 9,000 people are arriving, and they are being hosted at the University of Ghana. Tomorrow by 9 o'clock, they will start arriving here. Security is tight, and it's walking us through the processes that have been put in place to make sure the media gives us the best of coverages. But don't forget, this is the Wezo TV Election Center, and we have been doing this together with TVXYZ. So as we speak, you are watching me on the social media handles of Wezo TV, TVXYZ, and of course, if you are watching us on Wezo TV in your home too, we are grateful. But the promise is that throughout tomorrow, we are going to be with you. As I speak, the stadium is well set. Everything is ready for the Congress. Now, Doc, I understood you clearly when you said if you don't bring your ID card, you may have difficulty getting access, even though you may be given a media accreditation. Is it because sometimes some media personnel may swap ID cards and people who are not media people will use them to gain access and have numbers which will be overwhelming as far as your planning is concerned?
I don't want to impugn any ill motive, but let me give a scenario. Assuming the person comes for the card today and the card, let's say, gets missing, anyone can pick it and show up as Kojo Menu or Ajwa Mansa
from this media house,
from so and so media house. So if there is a second layer of verification that yes, you are holding the card, and secondly, you also have the identification card of that media house, it gives us the comfort to host you and host you very well.
So if I'm a media personnel and I'm having challenges at wherever has been designated for us, they would have to look for you, or there are other people they can consult for clarity, or if there's anything wrong.
The good thing is that we met them yesterday, briefed them, and showed them exactly where they are going to be seated, right underneath the VIP section of the stadium. That whole area has been designated for them. The other assurance is that most of them have even mounted their stands already
as we speak.
Yes, and this afternoon they were even running their programs from the stadium. That's quite exciting. Some of the stations are not even coming from Accra, so they've traveled from very far beyond Kumasi, some from Kumasi, to set up here. And so they are very familiar with the setting because we've walked them through. And then beyond that too, we have engaged them in terms of briefing them about the nitty-gritties, to the extent that we even know the number of bottled water that a human being working for that long is going to consume. And we have prepared for all that. We don't want anybody to be dehydrated for working for both the NDC and the country in terms of advancing our democracy. You can trust the people who are in charge. I mean, colleagues such as Sami Jemfi, our National Communications Officer, who is the chairman, Kakra Samoa, our Director of Communications, Obobia, Dako Opoku, James Jenim Boateng.
So there are people the media has worked with before, so they know them.
Okay, we know them, and we intend to make their stay here very, very comfortable.
And of course, it's good to hear that the publicity committee is assuring the media that they are very prepared. They know the numbers coming in, and everything that will give them comfort has been put in place, especially because many times when we go to such events, not limited to NDC alone, sometimes when you are looking for people to access to get information that will help you do your job, it becomes difficult. But this time we are told where you are located will be very, very easy for you to, the proximity to get access to whoever can assist you will do so. But Doc, you cannot leave me without speaking to other issues. All is set, but before I even walk into other areas, what would you say to the media as a brief advice going into tomorrow's coverage?
We trust that they will give us fair reportage. We are here to advance the democracy of our country. We are here to elect our new national executives who will lead the NDC, and I believe strongly, led by President John Dramani Mahama, into the 2024 elections and give us a resounding victory. This victory is needed because Ghana is at crossroads, and as President Mahama has indicated, we need to build this country again. And he says that we need to build the Ghana we want. Not the Ghana he wants, not the Ghana you want, not the Ghana I want, but the Ghana we as a collective we want. The economy is in dire straits. The economy is in terrible shape. There is hardships all over. People cannot just afford their medications.
You are a doctor, so you know what you are talking about.
Hypertensives, people with chronic diseases are missing their regimes just because of the astronomical increases that we have seen over this short period in the cost of drugs. Not to talk about food, not to talk about water, not to talk about electricity bill, utilities and all. This is a clarion call. This clarion call, I would say, is a communal labor for each and every Ghanaian who loves Ghana and believes that Ghana must be saved. Ghana must be salvaged from the mismanagement of the Akufo-Addo-Bawumia-led MPP administration.
So that informed the theme, which is rallying for, and let me just be specific, rallying for victory 2024, yes. Ghana's hope.
Yes.
Now, so what paints the picture, Ghana's hope? Is it the NDC? Is it the candidature of the presidential candidate going into 2024 elections, or an NDC which has a track record which is verifiable?
It's a combination of all that. The NDC's track record, as you said, is verifiable. It's there for everyone to see. It's there for everyone to see. My dear brother, any Ghanaian will attest that never did we ever anticipate that the Ghana cedi will exchange for $1 beyond 14 Ghana cedis. Never did any Ghanaian ever anticipate. Do you know the losses that businesses have made over this period of this steep depreciation? Beyond that, look at inflation, over 50%. What that means is that if you have 1,000 Ghana cedis in your bank account, that purchasing power that the 1,000 Ghana cedis could provide you has been eroded by 50%. So with 1,000 Ghana cedis, effectively, in terms of your purchasing power, if you are looking at the basket of goods that constitute the CPI, then you are having effective 500 Ghana cedis.
But the MPP's narrative, and they have been consistent with it, that even in this West state, it is the best for Ghana because they are doing something NDC would have been worse off if the NDC was in office. So apparently they are suggesting that in spite of all this, they are far ahead of NDC.
The MPP doesn't believe this narrative. And let me give you a reason I believe they don't believe this narrative. When was the last time you heard Loquacious Bawumia talking about the economy?
It's a long time.
He was their poster boy. He's ashamed of their record. And so I put it to you that the MPP itself doesn't believe that narrative.
But he appears to be one of their best bets for 2024.
And let me add that Ghanaians are calling for the return of the NDC. Of course, for us to do even better than what we did. And our better will certainly be better. But our record is far better than what these people have offered. Inflation at over 50%. Inflation at over 50%. Cedi exchanging for the $1 at over 14 Ghana cedis.
But the narrative on social media, as some of their spokesperson are suggesting, is that just after the staff level agreement, which was signed just 2-3 days ago, the cedi appears to be regaining some strength, which is a reflection of what they have been telling Ghanaians. So there is hope.
I have observed it. I wish I could be hopeful. And I posted something on my Facebook page this morning. Look, I think the Bank of Ghana lacks the needed tools to manage exchange rate and inflation. Even in what I believe is not the clearest picture of what is happening in terms of the precipitous drop that we are seeing, they could have gone about it in a better way. What do I mean? Kenneth Arrow, one of the greatest economists in modern times, perhaps the modern day Adam Smith, who made so much incursions in his studies into uncertainties within the economic sphere, will tell you that businesses, people would want to be more, want to see more predictability in the economy. When you jump from 14 Ghana cedis to $1 over a very short period to 7 Ghana cedis to $1, predictability becomes an issue.
You think it's speculative?
I don't want to use that, but I'm saying predictability becomes an issue. And so if we are to go by that trend, should I say that by middle of January, we should be looking at about 4.6 Ghana cedis to $1? It is from the middle to the end of January that we will begin to appreciate exactly what was happening. And this is why I'm saying that if I were at the Bank of Ghana, I would have learned some lessons from Kenneth Arrow in terms of uncertainty in economic management and manage this drop that they are contriving, if I should say so, in a more predictable manner. Now talk to businesses. They tell you they are happy, and we are all happy that it has dropped, but nobody is certain that this drop is going to be sustained. Why is it so? Because when it sounds too good to be true, you begin to question whether there is something more to it. That is exactly what they have done. Let me leave you with a question. What do you think they have done that is so extraordinary for us to see this precipitous drop?
The staff level agreement. The staff level agreement plus the policy which is supposed to deprive those who want dollars to import goods. They are putting a cap on a certain category which will have access to Bank of Ghana's greenbacks.
The staff level agreement. Check the ifs, the conditional clauses in there. So if that is what is causing this, then we must be more careful, because the board itself will also have to look at it. And there are milestones. I was fortunate to have been part of the team that worked through the conceptualization stage of our last IMF program all the way till we secured the deal. It is a very arduous process. As President Mahama has always indicated, this government should have gone to the IMF long ago, because they mismanaged this economy even before COVID-19. I remember in 2020 February, before COVID dogged on the shores of Ghana, I was on City TV with the Minister for Information, my good friend Kojo Nkrumah, and I made them appreciate the rate at which they were borrowing, how it was going to affect the economy. Several of our spokespersons on finance cautioned them. President Mahama raised the issue of creative accounting that the government was engaged in. The IMF itself, under their Article 4 monitoring, raised issues about the way they were declaring some of the figures. The government never listened. Today we are where we are. They give the excuse of COVID-19. They give the excuse of the Russia-Ukraine war. Let me ask, has the Russia-Ukraine war stopped? As we speak, has it stopped?
It hasn't stopped.
It hasn't stopped.
It's even intensifying.
Great. So that excuse that they were giving, how do you place it today? You listen to the MPP and believe the MPP at your own peril.
Okay, so before you go, and let me remind those who have just joined us that this is Wezo TV Election Center. Those following us would also notice that we do this with TV XYZ. My two colleagues will be joining us between now and, of course, in the next few minutes we'll be wrapping up. And tomorrow morning we'll be with you again. I'm talking about Randy Ahaji and Wisdom Hedejome. We'll be giving you reports from all over. And all you have to do is to stay glued by your TV sets. You've been told that if you're an NDC member or any other Ghanaian who would want to witness this event, if you come here, you will not have access to the Accra Sports Stadium. You may spend time around the outside, that's the parameters within, outside the stadium. So all you have to do is to watch your Wezo TV or TV XYZ. I am having a conversation with Dr. Edward Omane Boama, former Deputy Minister for Communications, but for here, he is here in the capacity as the Vice Chair of the Publicity Committee. Diplomatic gaffe. That's my last question. You spoke for the previous government, and I can imagine how Kojo Ponkroma will be struggling to explain this. The president spoke with the so-called confidence posturing that he tries to portray anytime he grabs the microphone, and he simply goofed. And within 24 hours, the Burkinabe ambassador to Ghana has been recalled, and I'm sure our ambassador in Burkina Faso should have answered questions by now. Surprise, embarrassment, or how do you see this?
I'm not surprised. Our president has proven that without a prepared script, without test, he struggles. And this is not the first time we have had this at the international level. And so it will be a communication nightmare, certainly for the government. But beyond the communication nightmare will be the issue of our relationship with Burkina Faso. I hope and pray, in the interest of the peace and stability of our country and of the sub-region, that we will be able to navigate this diplomatic faux pas, which was absolutely avoidable. The tongue should not say everything, and there are several ways that the government of Ghana could have communicated the same information to our external partners without necessarily drawing this unnecessary anger from our neighbors. It's unfortunate. In the interest of our nation, the peace and stability of our country, and all, I wouldn't want to delve too much into it. If you are very familiar with issues of terrorism in the sub-region, even Al-Qaeda in the Sahel and all that, Al-Qaeda in the Maghreb, we need to be very careful about how we go about these things. There's nothing wrong engaging our external partners, but as a president who has been a foreign affairs minister,
a former ECOWAS chair,
I mean, he should have done far better. I hope and pray that this should be the last time. The incompetence, I think, is legendary.
Okay, so that is Dr. Edward Omane-Boamah, former minister for communications. Today, I'm sure when we leave here, I have to pour libation because it appears his persona is intimidating me, but I refuse to do that. But that's just on a lighter note. Doc, you are welcome. And thank you. And he's here speaking to us as the vice chair of the publicity committee. And you remember that he has been engaging us through the arrangement for the media earlier before he joined us. Doc, don't go. I would want you to speak to everybody before you leave. We spoke to Kofi Adams, who is the MP for Boem. He was here as the chair of the delegates who are arriving, and of course the grounds committee, the accommodation and so on was in charge of Kofi Adams. He's spoken to us about everything that has been arranged. Alex Segbefia, who's the chair of the committee, that's the planning Congress planning committee, also joined us earlier, and he walked us through how the program will be like tomorrow. I will share that with you before you go. But Doc, I want you to tell Ghanaians something. Just 1 minute. If you were speaking to Ghanaians on the eve of an NDC's National Congress, what would you say? Your camera is facing you.
Yeah, we thank Ghanaians very much for the confidence that they continue to repose in the NDC. The NDC remains the hope of the nation, considering the abysmal performance that we have seen, the hardships that Ghanaians are going through. Tomorrow's Congress is only a necessary step towards the NDC annexing power legitimately in 2024. We are poised to elect our national executives peacefully and in a democratic manner. This is why we are setting up 17 good polling stations to ensure that everything runs smoothly. Beyond that, we will certainly have our presidential primaries, hopefully next year, and then we will all be out there campaigning for President John Dramani Mahama. I believe, and most of us believe, good number of Ghanaians, significant number of Ghanaians continue to yearn for President Mahama to come and put in place policies that will transform our nation, policies that will ensure that we build the Ghana we want. Tomorrow, just keep your dial on Wezo TV and all other stations that will be broadcasting live the NDC 10th National Delegates Congress. We do not take your enthusiasm, your support, and your confidence that you continue to show to us for granted at all. We thank you very much for your generosity of time in advance as you dedicate a good amount of your time tomorrow to follow the NDC. We also wish all delegates and observers who are traveling from far and near to Accra to join us here at the Accra Sports Stadium for the Congress. And let me once again thank each and every one who has sacrificed to get the Accra Sports Stadium going. And I can certainly not do this without singling out my good brother and friend Stan Hosey Dogbe. I will leave him here. I'm sure by 12 a.m. I will leave, but he may leave at 6.
He will not leave at 6. He will be with us with Wezo TV and TV XYZ, and we'll be doing the coverage. So those who can bring him food, start calling him and bring him food, because that man is not living here. So Dr. Mani Buama is the vice chair of the publicity committee. You know, he's a former minister for communications. He's been walking us through the plan for tomorrow. Now, before I go, be reminded that 4 people are contesting for the national chairmanship position. 8 are contesting for the deputy national chairmanship position. 3 are contesting for the general secretary position. I shared their profile. Tomorrow I'll share the profile of the national chairman contestants. 7 are contesting to become NDC's national organizer. Only 1 will be chosen. 2 will be chosen out of 4 for the deputy national organizer position. The National Communications Officer is going unopposed. Deputy National Communications Officer, 5 candidates are contesting. National Zongo Caucus, 5 candidates. And National Executive Members of the NDC, 19 candidates. This is Wezo TV Election Center. This is TV XYZ. Tomorrow, we shall be with you in the morning. And don't forget, call a friend to tell a friend that all the social media handles are available. I'm so grateful to the crew, Wezo TV, all the technical team who have brought this to you live from the Accra Sports Stadium. They are not going to sleep. They will make sure that you enjoy our programming once our sets are on from the event center here. I am Erica Hianyo, and on behalf of Randy Ahaji and Wisdom Hedejome, we say good night, and let's meet again tomorrow morning. Enjoy your night. Bye.